2024, like Palantir and Vista and Nvidia, United Airlines, will they have similar success this year?
I think Palantir would do great, even though I'm not theoretically. Shout out to Alex, love Alex, a big fan of Peter intellectually. Palantir would do great. Nvidia would do great, of course. Vistra, I don't think they have the same year that they did in 2024. I don't care if United Airlines goes up 7,000%.
I'm with you.
I don't give a. You could put Elon on every flight with me, and I fly UAL all the time. To me, United Airlines is uninvestable. So that's if we bring back Dead or Alive, they'll always be dead to me. GEV will be okay.
Yeah.
But I think out of this category, the only two that have the same year or better will be Palantir and Nvidia. And I think Palantir, Nvidia, and the real Starlink, that is going to end up being like the new war index when all of those are publicly traded, for sure.
Yeah, I agree with you on United Airlines. Palantir, yeah. I'm questioning.
Why?
And I think it's relative, right? If we're talking about having the same year or something similar, you're talking about 278% increase.
Well, yeah, that's going to be tough to pull off.
Right?
So I can see a world where they do 100%.
But we just got to keep things in perspective, right? Because people are like, well, it didn't get to 250%. Yeah, well, that doesn't usually happen, right? So, if it does 70% next year, that's an amazing year. If it does 40%, that's still a really good year. I've been noticing a lot of selling off happening in Palantir, from execs, from CEO, and I know obviously what Palantir does, and we spoke about this for the past 2 years, especially when we were out in Davos, and we went to Palantir, and I'm like, wait, what they're doing?
Because collecting information.
Yeah, I don't think people really have a clear understanding of what this means, especially when an agency like that is artificial intelligence, working with the government, surveillance, all that tied into one. I don't think people really have an understanding of it. But I put a question mark just because of the selling off from a lot of the execs. Obviously, you're going to take profits when this company runs up. So question mark on that. Vistra, I think, is going to have another strong year. And again, relative, right? This is the largest return on the S&P 500 last year, but I think it has another strong year because the AI demand is not going anywhere.
No, it's only going to increase.
It's only going to increase, and they were in prime position to benefit from that increase. When you're talking about energy for data centers, I think they stay for the same reason that GEV stays, right? That energy consumption and efficiency to power data centers, which will in turn power the AI revolution. So I like both Vistra and GEV, and Nvidia, of course. Right? If Nvidia, if it does 60%, I still think it's a great year. It's at a $3 trillion company. If it grows by 15%, that's a really solid number. So question mark Palantir, Vistra, GEV, Nvidia for sure. United Airlines, you can have it.
I know we touched on it quickly, but what did you think about what Jensen said at CES?
In terms of quantum computing?
Quantum computing, that was a hot take, but I agree. And the overall presentation on Nvidia making PCs and Blackwell.
Yeah, when I was watching it, a couple things were interesting. Number one, I heard what I thought would happen in the presentation when he's talking about memory and Micron being a partner there. That was exciting news. When I heard him coming into the CPU space, I was like, okay, well, that's AMD space now. So again, I know that there's some family ties there, but this is like, nah, we've come to take it all. This is not a laughing matter. Like, we're coming to conquer everything. So we're already dominating GPUs, and now we're coming. I know you thought we forgot about gaming, but no. Here's what we're doing for gaming, and we're coming back for your CPU market as well. So that was interesting. So watching AMD, I was like, oh man, this is not something.
But can you have it all? I mean, I'll ask you, Troy and Rashad, can a company dominate both sectors? Because at some point, your attention has to go somewhere.
And I think that's the interesting part, right? Because yes, you can be great at some things, you just can't be great at everything.
Oh, yep.
And they're great at the GPUs. It's been well documented. In fact, their market share will dictate that. if they start focusing on lesser tier things, CPUs, and
Mistake.
because the price points aren't going to be the same. But what you really want to do is stomp out the competition who is now taking the lead, right? Intel falls, AMD takes over. They announced their product.
Distant cousin.
Family ties.
Family ties, right? They announced the I think it's the M300, and then Nvidia has this whole. The first 15 minutes is not even talking about what they're doing in AI. It's about, yo, this is what we're coming to put inside of the computers and for gaming. And I was like, damn. Then I'm watching him present it. I'm like, did he rehearse this? Did he like look at the slides? So the presentation part was a little tricky for me. And then obviously the quantum computing part was like, okay, what are we watching here? Is he setting this up for a pullback in this space because they're innovating and they're not ready to release that? And then obviously you saw what happened with the quantum computing stocks the next day. They all dropped. Some of them have recovered a little bit, but that was a hefty pullback in that space. And he said 20 to 30 years, right? And then you had a couple of CEOs from the quantum space saying, nah, he's off. He's throwing you off. In fact, if he's talking about it, that means that they're working on it and they're not far from revealing what they've done, which sounds more like tech CEOs. They're not working on it and saying, hey, we're 30 years away. They're trying to figure out how to innovate faster than the competition.
I mean, and I'll say this again. I like that the quantum stocks rose, but when Google hasn't put out a demo of Willow yet, I don't think BTS, whoever, has the solution, and Google has not figured it out. But Rashad, if